Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits. Why? Because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good brunch, good lunch, good dinners and suppers and all that stuff. Okay, happiest of days. Today's a Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I think it is Tuesday. Diggity damn. It is Tuesday, y'all. Tuesday. I'm feeling good. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. Feels good. Yeah. It's Tuesday. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on today that we need to talk about. And today I felt like wearing a tie. You know, I'm trying to switch it up. You know, yes, looking as dapper as I can. To a certain extent, you know what I mean? You know? To a certain extent. So please do me a favor before we get into everything. Appreciate the comments. But please do me a favor. Before we get into everything, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush the do what to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you're watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them, guys. So make sure you go and you hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Also, like I've been saying, go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. Hit that notification bell over there as well so you know whenever I upload anything, there's clips from this show or these past shows that we've been doing. There's been so much going on. We go through many realms on this show. This is your Lord of the Rings show, dagnabbit. Multiple realms that we go into. We go into the true crime realm. We go into the politics realm. We go into the pop culture realm. And sometimes they all smash into one. Okay? Yes, if you are, one ring to rule them all or whatever the hell it's called, okay? If you appreciate that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my second channel, all right? The Pascal Show Clips. Hit the notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Because honestly, it's random whenever I can get time to get in here to give you guys some of the news of the day. Because a lot of news happens when we get done. A lot of news is happening while we're live. It's absolutely insane. So if you appreciate it, make sure you do that. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support this channel. Also go and support. If you want to go further on and support even further, go check out patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's moving at a snail's crawl across the bottom of the screen right now. So if you want to go to Patreon, you can go check that out. Also check out my locals. I'm on locals as well. If you want to support over there as well, no pressure. Okay. And of course, you can always check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really good stuff over there. Okay? PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. Okay? Anyway. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Hope this is a good show for you guys. Hopefully you're smiling. Hopefully you're drinking your coffee or whatever else you might be drinking, just as long as you're not operating heavy machinery whilst drinking that other stuff. Okay? Just saying that out loud. We all want to arrive alive. And that means more than just beyond the car. Remember that. More than just you behind the wheel. There's other people behind the wheel, too, that want to get to where they want to get to alive. Let's not forget that. So put the drink down and call an Uber. But moving on, I know because it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world, right? And I know this show is international, baby. Okay? We have some international love out here. So I get it. You might be having a libation. Your day might be over right now. Trying to relax and just hear what the hell is going on in the world. I appreciate that. You watching this show. All I'm saying is that, hey, make sure you have an Uber or whatever they have in your neck of the woods. You know what I mean? If it's in London, it's an Uber. You know what I mean? It's not an Uber, it's an Uber. You know? I don't know why it's Cogni or something like that, but you know, you get what I'm saying. All right? Catherine's watching from the UK. So you know exactly. See, I just spoke in your language, Catherine. I just spoke in your language. You see what I'm saying? Because I said Uber, and you're like, what? What's that? And I'm like, an Uber. And you're like, oh, radio. You know what I mean? Some tea and crumpets. You know? Ignore me. Ignore me. There's a lot going on today, okay? There's been a lot going on, and we got a lot to talk about, okay? Like I said, I wish I was able to be here earlier with y'all, but your boy is busy. It's called life. Life be lifing, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. But something serious going on, okay, overseas. We're like I said, we got a lot to talk about. We're going through many, many realms, like I said. Gandalf, I don't know why I did that. Lord of the Rings, multiple realms. We're going through a lot of realms, okay? Right now, we're going to go into the political realm for just a hot minute. I mean, we're going to be going in and out of the political realm. I'm sorry, there's a lot going on, and tomorrow is D-Day. Yes, indeed. Tomorrow is D-Day. You might be wondering, what are you talking about, Pascal? D-Day for what? Well, see what had happened was while you were sleeping for the last 50-something days, there's been a war going on in the Middle East, and it's getting really serious. Now, there is a ceasefire, currently a ceasefire going on right now. Trump's been saying, oh yeah, we're doing good. We making things happen. We're about to have peace talks and all that. But then whilst he is saying that, Iran shoots at a vessel in there, okay? He shoots a vessel. Iran hits a vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. And then they say, this is our Strait of Hormuz, not yours. But America's still got their naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Then America strikes at an Iranian vessel. And apparently this vessel was trying really hard to get out or get into the okay, let me explain something, okay? Let me explain something. Before we go into this article here, which is very interesting nonetheless, I want to make this abundantly clear. These boats go 15 miles an hour. So they're going as fast as the ticker on the bottom of my screen is going in the water. Okay, it's at a snail crawl. In fact, a snail would probably win the race against an oil tanker if there was an oil tanker and snail race in the history of ever. Okay, the snail would mother love and win because that is how fast these vessels go. But for some strange reason, this Iranian ship that was seized by American Navy thought it could outrun. And I'm sorry, I can't even say it. I can't even say this normal. I can't even say this without actually laughing a little bit, a little chuckle like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You know what I mean? That's the kind of chuckle I have inside of me right now. It's like, because they literally thought that they could outrun the blockade. Let me repeat this again. A vessel that goes as fast as your toddler riding a bike. I mean, they might have really strong legs, but they going slower than molasses, if you really think about it. Literally said, we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna outrun these mother lovers. And they're going 15 miles an hour. Your toddler could ride a bike faster than how fast these vessels are going in the water. Do you understand? Do you understand? Can we just think about that for a hot minute? This vessel said we go outrun. I'm sorry. It's kind of funny if you think about it, and really sad. And really, really sad. They said, they said, we gonna outrun this blockade. I'm sorry, it's funny. It's funny. And they still got caught. You know? They still got caught. Okay? So they were really desperate to try to get through that blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. And they thought that maybe they could get through, like Speedy Gonzalez or like the road runner, right? Meep, meep. You know what I mean? So now we're finding out some more information, which is kind of hilarious if you really think about it. Well, not this part. Them trying to outrun. Like, you know what I mean? It's like watching two really old men trying to like get the last donut in their assisted living housing or something like that. You know, or they're trying to get the last, I don't know. What do old men like? The last golf ball. I don't know. What do old men like? What do old men like? I don't know. But you get a croissant? What? Okay, sure. Two old men running, trying to get the last croissant. Okay, the last croissant. Okay, and they're just moving. You know what I mean? Da, 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 da. Super slow. Okay, that's how slow these boats are moving. You understand? That's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. Okay, running after a pickleball. Do old men play pickleball like that? Like, are they that aggressive? But think about it. We're going to outrun them. Like that. What is that? What is that? It's weird. It's weird. Okay, I just putting that into your minds, okay? Two old men trying to fight each other, but they're just like, you know, that osteoporosis just kicking, you know? BB Lee says, and suspenders. What? Okay, they're going for croissants and fighting over croissants and wearing suspenders at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying? So moving on, they were trying to outrun the blockade. That's what they were trying to do. Why were they trying to do that? I can't hear you. I'll just tell you. It's because apparently they had chemicals on the boat that could be for trade, but also for weaponry. Yes, the Iranian ship was up to no good, allegedly. Allegedly. Okay? Ain't that interesting? Let's take a look at this, shall we? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And apparently it was connected to China. So, Chinese links to the Iranian-flagged tanker seized by the U.S. show how Beijing is helping Tehran. Former U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley has said amid speculation that the vessel's cargo contained materials that could be used for missiles. Let me explain something to you, okay, cabron? They no good. They, cabron, ain't no good. Because remember, China said we ain't doing nothing. That's fine. We ain't doing nothing, Tony. We ain't doing nothing, Trump. I don't know why it's Tony, but we ain't doing nothing, Trump. No. You good. We get it. We will not help our allies, Iran. We will not. We are out. We step out. We good. Remember, leader of China, Xi, literally said, hey, that's fine. We're not even throwing up a flag. We ain't surrendering, damn. But we will not aid in this war. That's fine. We will not help out Iran. But we're seeing something completely different now. Because the chemicals that were on this, the materials that were on this actual boat could also be used not only just for other things, but also could be used for making more missiles, y'all. More of them. And you know for a fact, this is not making Trump very happy. I think that's fair enough to say, right? That's not making Trump a happy boy. And also they're in the middle of possibly having peace talks today, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen because Iran's not okay with everything that's been going on in the Strait of Hormuz, but Trump is saying that he is doing something about it and that he's looking forward to a possible ceasefire. But if it doesn't happen after the ceasefire is over, that he's going to go and drop bombs on the whole civilization of Iran, quote unquote. We're in some serious trouble. The world is absolutely cooked. And all the while, Trump is using this as an opportunity to manipulate the stock market. Okay. Yeah, this is not good, but let's continue. So Nikki Haley, okay, a former U.S. envoy to the United Nations, said that the Tosca, the boat that they seized, which was captured on Sunday near the Iranian port of Chabahar, was, quote unquote, headed from China to Iran and is linked to chemical shipments for missiles. Now, here's the thing. In defense of China, which is weird, I'm not trying to defend China, but let's just think about this for 2 seconds. There's still a possibility that while en route, because remember, these boats go super, super slow, maybe en route whilst they were on their way to the Strait of Hormuz to drop off certain things, maybe China called an audible. But those chemicals, those materials that could help create missiles were already on the boat already. You know, they could have been days, if not weeks, into their voyage to the Strait of Hormuz. So there's still that possibility. Okay? That could be it. Still, though, you don't think he could have called up that boat and said, turn the F around? Abort mission? Could have done that. But it looks like that didn't happen. Looks like he did. Nah, that's a hell to the nah, clearly. Right? So the post on X by the 2024 Republican primary candidate added this was, quote unquote, another reminder that China is helping prop up Iran's regime. Do you realize how bad this is? Look at this. The ship the U.S. seized in the Strait of Hormuz this weekend was headed. This is from her. This is what she posted. Okay, see her icon, see her face. There she is. All right. This is what she posted on X. The ship that was seized, that U.S. seized in the Strait of Hormuz this weekend was headed from China to Iran and is linked to chemical shipments for missiles. It refused repeated orders to stop. Another reminder that China is helping prop up Iran's regime, a reality that can't be ignored. Now, a lot of people are looking at this situation and going, oh, damn. Some people are getting wild enough to say that WW has already started. That WW has begun. What say you? What say you? When asked whether the Tosca was carrying rocket fuel precursors from China, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun, hopefully I'm destroying that name, I apologize, said Tuesday, as far as I know, it is a foreign flagged container ship. So they're sitting there going, we wash our hands clean of this situation. We don't know what you're talking about. Whatever was going on over there, that's a foreign flag container. That's not with us. That's something else. That's something else. China opposes any malicious association and hyping up the issue. That's crazy that he said hyping up the issue. That's in his language? I'm kidding, but wow. He said China opposes any malicious association. Like, how dare you put us in the same situation, the same sentence as Iran? How dare you? We said we are men and women of our word. We are China. How dare you make malicious remarks like that? I am absolutely flabbergasted. And of course, quit hyping up the issue. The hell's wrong with you? Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? There is no confirmed evidence China was provided or has provided military support to Iran in the war launched by the U.S. and Israel. Okay, President Trump has said Beijing committed not to supply Tehran with weapons after reports it was looking to sell it shoulder-fired air defense systems. Okay, so they said they're going like, yo, they agreed to not get into the middle of this group chat and start blasting off and start helping out and get on the side of their ally. But this still happened. However, Haley's comments follow initial assessments from security sources that the vessel U.S. Marines boarded Sunday in the Gulf of Oman was likely to be carrying dual-use items after a voyage from Asia. So, what is actually going on here, right? What is actually going on here? I'm quite curious about this because it's still this is still a very strange situation. You got them, of course, saying that, oh, no, we didn't have anything to do with that. That they came from these items are from somewhere else, and they're carrying a different, this flag. Okay, what do they say? A foreign flag. It's a foreign flag container ship. They could be just carrying a bunch of different things all at the same time from other places that they went and picked things up from. This has nothing to do with us whatsoever. And how dare you even say, even remotely come up with the idea that it's us and that we are going against our word? Some pretty wild stuff, but I will say, nonetheless, we are in a very hairy time right now. Okay? Really, really, really hairy time right now. But we'll see what happens here in due time. Let's not forget, peace talks apparently are supposed to happen today. Man, I thought they were supposed to happen like yesterday. Okay? And no, there's no press conference today. There was a mistake on the thumbnail. So just refresh on the thumbnail is gone. So there's no press conference. But what's very interesting about this, okay? We were supposed to have peace talks, I thought as early as yesterday. Did not happen. They're still supposed to have peace talks at some point today. I think it's supposed to be this evening. And they don't know if Iran is actually going to show up for this peace talk. And a lot of people are very concerned about that. I am too, dagnabbit. Because let's be real. We ain't got time for Trump to do exactly what he says he's about to do. Let's take a look at this, guys. It's crazy.
31 here this morning. The ceasefire agreement between the U.S. and Iran is about to expire just as last-minute talks get underway in Pakistan.
Doug Luzader joining us live now from Washington with the latest developments from overnight. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. Well, the big question now is whether Iran will even participate in additional talks with the U.S. as the U.S. Navy continues to block Iranian ports.
If you attempt to run the blockade, we will compel compliance with force. Over.
A U.S. Central Command posting this video showing blockade enforcement. It's a key sticking point that could lead to Iran refusing to meet today. In Pakistan, heavy security in anticipation of what headlines there advertise as round 2 of talks.
I think both sides, frankly, really do want an agreement.
A former CIA Director General David Petraeus sees incentives for both sides to cut a deal.
I don't think that either side really wants to return to full-on combat, knowing what that could represent.
And President Trump sounds confident, telling Axios, "I feel fine about it. The concept of the deal is done. I think we have a very good chance to get it completed."
I don't know how much of that we can actually believe. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm going to keep it a bean. I don't know how much of that we can actually believe. Do you believe it? Because I don't believe it. Okay? I don't. I'm sorry. Okay? Now, somebody, I think Star Fury just said a second ago that that peace talks, where the heck did it go? Peace talks have been canceled. I'm still looking to see if that's actually true. Because I'm seeing some other things. We're going to look at that here in a second. But still, no matter what, if there are no peace talks, hamburger. Let me explain why we should be really worried about this. This is going to be bad news bears. This is going to be bad news bears, y'all. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Trump is already saying that he's going to wipe out a whole civilization, or at least wipe out infrastructures like, power grids, bridges, you name it. All that stuff is about to go up in freaking flames. They're all about to go kaboom tomorrow. So if they can't come up with some sort of deal, and if peace talks are actually canceled, because as of just 20 minutes ago, there was an update that we're going to look at here as soon as we get done looking at this video here. They kind of have they're up in arms right now. They kind of have their hands up like, I don't know what's going on, okay? But so in other words, tomorrow, if Trump says he's going to do what he says he's going to do, that's going to make a lot of war horny mother lovers very excited. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of people in the corner just tenderizing their meat. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be bad. So if it does not happen within the next 24 hours, there's gonna be a lot of bad situations going on, and Lindsey Graham whacking off in the corner, saying wartime. You know what I mean? It's gonna be bad. It's going to be bad. So I hope that's not true, but we'll look at it. Let's finish this video here real quick.
But there are plenty of complications, including reports of infighting among Iranian negotiators.
They're all there to keep an eye on each other, rather than trying to negotiate a deal with the Americans.
And back on Capitol Hill, Democrats plan to keep pushing to end the war.
This is not partisan, it's patriotic for us. We're committed to doing everything we can to stop it.
One Senate Democrat is promising to try to force another war powers vote today to limit the president's authority. Back to you guys.
All right, Doug Luzader live in Washington this morning. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. And in response to that conflict, airlines are adjusting to higher fuel prices. Fuel prices type.
You realize we're absolutely, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to curse because I try to keep this show pretty clean, but this is bad. This is bad. Caroline Mile, thank you so much for the comment. Let's just talk about that really quick. Our tops. There's a double meaning in that word. I'm sorry, but there is a double meaning in that word. But here it is. Won't let it happen, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. True. That's very true. There's a possibility that Trump might be like, or Pete Hegseth be like, as we sit here and watch the sun go down upon these bridges. Yeah, I need you to go and drop a bomb on that actual bridge right now. Right? Those officials, CENTCOM could go back and go, sir, we can't do that, sir. Sorry, sir, we can't. We will not commit a war crime for you. They could still do that. This is allegedly what they were doing just last or 2 weeks ago, right? When Trump was like, a whole civilization is going to die tonight. Remember that? Whole civilization is about to be wiped out. Get ready, right? Remember that? Yeah, it was Taco Tuesday. Okay. It was Taco Tuesday 2 Tuesdays ago, right? It could be Taco Tuesday again. But here's the thing, okay? Sarcastification, okay? Here's the thing that I'm concerned about. I really hope he does Taco again. I know some of y'all are gonna be like, oh man, come on, man. Oh no, we ain't got no time to be Taco again, son. But hold on, here it is though. Focus, look at me, look at my eyes, okay? You realize how detrimentally bad it would be if he doesn't Taco? Seriously, I'm dead serious. Look into these sultry, deep brown eyes. And you tell me, him not tacoing is a good thing? It's not a good thing. I mean, I can answer it for you. I know you got your own body, your own woman. Okay, girl, do your thing. But I'm just telling you right now, for the sake of America, for the sake of the world, for the sake of the Iranian people, I'd rather him Taco. I can't make up your mind. I get it. You a strong, independent woman. Yes, girl. Yes. Okay, face beat to the gods. Okay, gone with the wind, fabulous. Okay, but I will tell you, him not tacoing tomorrow would be catastrophic. So I'm hoping to God he tacos. I know that's not what like Pete Hegseth wants or even Lindsey Graham wants, because, you know, they're all in the corners just like, you know, hoping, you know what I mean? I mean, we are talking Lord of the Rings. You know, this war is their precious, right? My precious. You know, they're really hoping that this goes down. They really want to see it all go bad. I hope he tacos. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, I know. But it will not be anything beneficial for any of us. Gas prices will get even worse. Oil prices will still keep skyrocketing. The market would go absolutely haywire. It is not, I repeat, it is not what we need right now. It will be absolutely detrimental. Here's the other thing too. I do have something I do want to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But clearly, Trump has been doing everything. We've already talked about this at nauseum, but I'm going to say it again for y'all, just for those of y'all who are just getting here in the nosebleed seats. Okay, he is manipulating the system. He is manipulating the markets for his own financial gain or for his family's financial gain. Just so you know. That has been seen over and over and over again. Not enough places, not enough accounts, not enough media is actually covering that and talking about that. But he really is. Truly. Manipulating the markets so he can scoop a bag or his people can scoop a bag. So there's a lot of very rich people right now happy. But while we're all screwed, they're singing, we're in the money, we're in the money. Ba, 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 ba. They're having a great time. Because they think that this is going to be short term. But it won't be. And that's if he does not taco, we are so screwed. And you don't think Iran is going to retaliate in a vicious way? Think about all this for a second, guys. Think about it for a second, please, as we finish this video, Okay, we're almost done, I promise.
Topped $4 a gallon last week, prompting some major carriers like Delta and American to bump up their baggage fees and trim flight schedules to cover costs. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he expects the impact to be temporary.
You look in the
That's what they all say that, and he.
out years, we think once this conflict is over, we're going to see jet fuel go lower than it was before the Iran conflict.
Yeah, but we're talking about right now, mother lover, and it's not getting any better. It's not. You got more and more people doing less and less traveling. You got more and more companies, more and more airlines condensing, canceling certain routes, etc., because things are getting so damn expensive. You really think at some point, you really think that we're going to hold water this long? You really think we're going to be able to hold water? That's basically what I'm asking. I'm going to tell you right now, no, we're not going to be able to hold water that for very long. It's not going to get any better. Things are only getting worse. We got a video I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit about that. But we got to look at this though too, okay? Now, I have yet to see anything about things being canceled per se, all right? But one thing is for sure, something weird is going on, okay? You got Vance and top officials arriving at the White House as peace talks in Pakistan remain uncertain. I thought that Vance was supposed to be in a plane flying out, okay? I thought he was supposed to be flying out, y'all. I thought he was supposed to be in Pakistan by now, having this conversation. He's supposed to be touching grass in Pakistan by now for this meeting. And he's still in America, guys. So what does that tell you? You know what it tells me? It looks like things are falling apart. And it's not good, because as much as Trump is sitting there going, you know, and so the end is near. What? A whole civilization's gonna die tonight. You know, all those things that he's been saying. Kind of weird, don't you think? And now we're back at this, and now Vance ain't even left the country for a meeting that was supposed to be had today in Pakistan. And it's not like we have like Star Trek technology where they could just beam him up, Scotty, and they could be zapped right there in Pakistan. It's not good. I will say this, it's not good. So let's take a look at this. This is 30 minutes ago, and I know it's CNN, but it is what it is. We read it. We read from everything. So get over it. But anyway, Vance and top officials arrive at White House as peace talks in Pakistan remain uncertain. So VP JD is still in the hizzy. What's going on? He arrived at the White House for meetings Tuesday afternoon as his plans to go to Pakistan for Iran peace talks remain unclear. So the VP, JD, had been expected to depart for Islamabad in the morning, though for now, his plans have been put on hold as officials meet to discuss the path forward. In other words, Trump is about to drop bombs on it. It's not about to get good here. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth arrived at the White House moments after the VP. Secretary of State Marco Polo Rubio was also seen by CNN cameras arriving at the West Wing entrance of the White House almost 50 minutes prior to VP JD's arrival. He's supposed to already been in the air, JD already supposed to be in the damn and he ain't there. That's weird. I said it, and I don't give a damn. That I find to be weird. So again, if it's going the way I think it's going right now, it doesn't look like it's going good. Iran yet to decide if attending Pakistan talks after contradictory U.S. messages and ship attacks. It's weird, right? I don't know. I might just show up. I might not. I don't know. I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. China, tell me what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to go over there and have the peace talks? Because he is such a little bitch. I don't like him. What should I do? China. How about Russia? Russia. Привет. What should I do? I don't even know. That's what we're in right now. They don't even know what to do. Are we doing peace talks or not? Are we effing or are we not effing? That's what I want to know. Are we going to get in the bedroom and start cracking or no? That's what I'd like to know. That's what Trump wants to know. Okay? He's like, I swear to God, if we're not cracking tonight, I'm going to go crack some other people. A whole civilization going to die tonight. You see what I'm saying? Hold on, let me get this super chat. Eve, thank you so much for the love. Looking good, Pascal, with your black shirt and tie. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for all your work. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. So again, they don't even know. They're like, should I not? I don't know. Maybe not. So Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson says that Tehran's hesitation over participating in negotiations in Pakistan is not due to indecision, but what he described as conflicting signals and actions from the U.S. So the reason is not indecision. It is because of contradictory messages, contradictory behaviors, and unacceptable actions by the American side. This is what he said, according to Iranian official media. So the FM, foreign minister, said Iran would decide on taking part in negotiations, whether they became results-oriented. He also condemned U.S. attacks on Iranian ships, calling them, quote unquote, a gross violation of international law, as well as, quote unquote, maritime piracy and state terrorism. Whoa. Oh my God. What is going on with this world? So now they're calling us pirates. Well, not us, Trump. Piracy, yeah. Didn't they fire upon a French vessel and a UK vessel first? Didn't they do that? Didn't they do that after they said the day before, yeah, we talking, we working things out. We gonna keep the Strait of Hormuz wide open while this ceasefire is still in action. And then as soon as this ceasefire is over, then anything goes, baby. But he didn't really do that now, did he? They didn't do that. 24 hours later, they were opening fire on French vessels and UK vessels. Innocent boats, not warships. They were going in to do their export-import like they always do in the Strait of Hormuz. And they still opened fire on those vessels. And then Trump retaliated and said, oh, you think you run this town? Oh, I'm about to show you different. We run this town. We run the Strait of Hormuz. That's what happened. That part I will take Trump's side on. I'm sorry. I will take Trump's side on that part. So make that make sense. Piracy? Okay. Earlier today, foreign minister said the U.S. is, quote unquote, resorting to blame shifting while violating the ceasefire and failing to implement key commitments, including the Lebanon truce. Damn. Okay. So the Iran's ambassador to Germany, said earlier today that Tehran would be open to real negotiations in Islamabad, but not if they were coercive. Iranian official media reported. Pakistan is still waiting for official confirmation from Iran on whether it will participate in peace talks with the U.S. this week, Pakistani Information Minister Tarar said earlier today. So we still don't even know. Are they going to get together? Are they not? Are we still fighting? Have we found a happy medium? Have we found some middle ground where we can get some peace talks happening or no? That's the thing I think a lot of us are still trying to figure out and want to know why this is taking so long and why. Because it's both sides that are messing things up. It's not just Trump. It's also Iran. They're both liars. Let me just say that really quick. They are both liars. Both sides are freaking liars. All they do is lie. We hear Trump lying to us, Trump lying to the world, stacking up on bread, and then you got Iran lying to the world as well, saying, "Oh yeah, we're working things out, blah blah blah," and then suddenly changing their mind and doing something completely erratic and extremely dangerous. Okay? Like opening fire on innocent vessels and causing more BS to go down. Like I said, this is not making the situation any better. It's making the situation much, much worse. And now peace talks could be obsolete. Let's take a look at this article here. Says here, hold on. He says, I expect to be bombing. This is what Trump is saying now. I expect to be bombing, son. Do you understand? This is not good. And it's crazy because I think that Trump thinks that as long as he's talking crazy, then it's going to be like, ooh, shiver me timbers by Iranian regime. But they're like, ha, 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 go ahead and try it. Ha, ha, ha. Like they don't believe it. So Vance grounded at White House as Iran peace talks in turmoil, and Trump declares, I expect to be bombing. Yeah, he's ready to bang. Okay? He's ready to bang. So J.D. Vance remains at the White House as uncertainty surrounds whether he will depart for Pakistan, with Iran peace talks hanging in the balance less than 24 hours before ceasefire expires. Remember, Trump said if nothing happens at this ceasefire, he's not going to extend it. He even said it himself. I am not willing to extend said ceasefire. I am about to start banging. I don't care. Anything's in the way, we are going to drop bombs on it. That's what he's saying. Okay? Trump claims he's poised to resume bombing if Tehran refuses to come to the table. This is what he said to CNBC Tuesday morning. Trump earlier this month threatened military action against Iran as part of his ultimatum over the Strait of Hormuz. But he then backed off and agreed to a 2-week ceasefire instead, which we are all thankful for. I know some people are like, oh, he tacoed. But at the same time, I'm glad he did it. I'm sorry, but I'm glad he did it. No carnage, no means of livelihood being destroyed by America. Not us looking like the bad guy. I'm thankful for that. Tehran has not made it clear whether their representatives will attend a peace summit in Islamabad, like we just talked about a second ago. Okay, the ceasefire ends at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Just mind you on that. So what is that? That's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, for those who don't know. Okay. Senior White House officials plan to hold meetings today alongside the VP to determine a path forward. So Trump had previously said Vance was expected to depart for Washington for Pakistan on Tuesday morning. So he was supposed to be gone already. Like I said, he was already supposed to be in the middle of the ocean right now. Those plans are scrapped. Were scrapped at the last minute as uncertainty grew over whether Iran would participate. During his CNBC interview, the president said he expects to be bombing Iran if talks fail by tomorrow's deadline, adding the military is raring to go. That's a wild thing to say. The military can't wait to destroy innocent lives' livelihood. Yeah. Okay. Trump added that he does not want to extend the ceasefire despite confusion over Tehran's participation. Now, again, now I got to see if I can find that CNBC interview. Hold on. Because we definitely did see that. Oh, he did. That's a long ass interview. Hold on. Let's see what this one does.
Joining us now on the Squawk Newsline, President Donald J. Trump. President Trump, welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Joe.
You are very welcome. Can you give us, I think it's on everyone's mind, the latest on where the Iran negotiations stand? We now know Tehran has publicly confirmed that it will send representatives to the meeting with Vice President Vance. What do you expect? What are you hearing at this point, sir?
Well, as I said 2 days ago when they said they won't send them, I said they'll be sending them. They have no choice but to send them. What I think is that we're going to end up with a great deal. I think they have no choice. We've taken out their Navy. We've taken out their Air Force. We've taken out their leaders, frankly, which does complicate things in one way, but these leaders are much more rational. It is regime change, no matter what you want to call it, which is not something I said I was going to do, but I've done it. Indirectly, maybe, but I've done it.
Wait, hold on. That doesn't make any earthly sense. But hold on. Rye the Guy, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Trump and Iran are like that couple on social media who can't decide if they're going to stay together or break up. And we have to see them post memes back and forth all day aimed at one another. No doubt. That is the perfect example. And it's wild how it's meme wars while we have wars going on. Some people are calling this Cold War 2 or like Cold War Part 2 or whatever. It's like the Cold War all over again, except this time we're doing everything in the ocean and in the air, or right now in the ocean at least, and we're doing everything online. Like the war is happening via online, which is wild that we got AI memes being made about either side, which is just so insane. But it's real. It's a real thing.
And I think we're in a very strong negotiating position to do what other presidents should have done during a 47-year period. We have 47 years where these bloodthirsty people have been killing a lot of soldiers, a lot of our soldiers, and a lot of other people. They've killed 42,000 people over the last 2 months. And, you get to a point where people don't want to mention that. They don't like mentioning that. 42,000 unarmed protesters, innocent unarmed protesters, many of them hung. So we're not dealing with the nicest group of people, but we're dealing with them very successfully, and the blockade has been a tremendous success. They said 2 days ago, we will open the strait. I said, no, we're not going to open the strait until we have a final deal. No, we want to open the strait. They said, we're not opening. We totally control the strait, just so you understand, for all the fake news out there.
And, Mr. President, we've seen 100 days of the largest protests in Iran since the revolution in 1979. And I know how much you respect and admire and are concerned with the Iranian people themselves. And this is, I think, in large degree, one of the reasons you decided to embark on this whole thing, maybe among other things, but the timing was right. If we get close in negotiations right now, but the deadline for the ceasefire is tomorrow, if it looks like things are progressing, will you not necessarily extend it to a definitive amount of time, but will you let it keep going if there's progress in the talks before taking...
Well, I don't want to do that. We don't have that much time because by the time both parties get there, as you know, they just got the okay to go forward, which I knew they were going to do anyway. I mean, I don't think they had a choice. They have to negotiate. And, you know, the one thing I'll say is this. Iran can get themselves on a very good footing if they make a deal. They can make themselves into a strong nation again, a wonderful nation again. They have incredible people. But they seem to be, you know, bloodthirsty. They're led by some very, very, unfortunately, tough people. And I don't mean tough in a good way. I think it's very negative for the country because we're much tougher than they are, like not even close. But they have to use reason, and they have to use common sense, and they can get themselves into a great position to make themselves into a great country, but a legitimate country, not a country based on death and horror.
And I think regimes only respond to certain things, and I understand your threats to bomb the bridges in the electric grid, but I don't think the regime cares about the people of Iran. And if you did that, I'm sure it's the last thing you'd probably want to do, but it would hurt at least some of the people that we care about and why we embarked on this in the first place. So that would be, I'm sure, a last resort for you.
It's not my choice, but it will also hurt them. It'll hurt them militarily. They use the bridges for their weapons, for their missile movements. You know, they're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of their missiles, and they're trying to move their missiles around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've, like, much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking.
I mean, they definitely restocked. I feel like that's a fair assessment that there has been a good deal, if not, of restocking on both sides. Let's be real. So again, this ceasefire, what did it end up being? Just an opportunity for everybody to recoup and replenish and, you know, hydrate. It just doesn't make any sense, but this is what we're dealing with now. We
caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right? But I will tell you that our military is incredible, what we've done. I mean, think of it. In the first 3 days, we took out their entire Navy, 159 ships. 159 ships, and wiped out their Air Force, wiped out their anti-aircraft, wiped out their aircraft, all of their anti-aircraft apparatus is all gone. All of their radar is gone. Their leaders are gone. You know, their leaders are gone. The whole thing is gone. And frankly, this should have been done a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier because they were a lot less lethal a long time ago.
So to be clear, you're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because I think that's a better attitude to go in with. But we're ready to go. I mean, the military is raring to go. They are absolutely incredible. You know, I built the military in my first term. I'm using it now. The military.
Did he build the military his own self? In the first term? Is that what happened?
When I took it over from Barack Hussein Obama, it was so depleted, so sad. And I built it in my first term. You remember those big numbers. You talked to me about it once. That's a lot of money for military. I built it. We did a great job with our military, and we're using it now and rebuilding it, too. We've done a lot of rebuilding also in my first year. of the second term. But we have we have the most powerful military in the world.
Chris, thank you so much for the super sticker. Yeah. You realize he just says the same crap over and over again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just calling it like I see it. Okay? I'm just calling it like I see it. And he just keeps saying, even ourselves, we're sounding like broken records because we hear the same crap over and over and over again. Who do I want after Trump? Chris, I don't even know. No one sounds good. No one sounds good. And no, it's not because I'm like, oh, there can only be, Trump is so amazing that, he has left a mark on how the presidents should be presidents. No, not at all. Not at all. There's just something that is needed, and there's just not anybody out there that I've seen so far, to be completely honest, that has that kind of it factor. Sorry, not sorry. I just don't see that it factor. Somebody who could be charismatic, someone who can actually be presidential, diplomatic, but also be hard, be hard on the issues that they're wanting, and hard on the policies that they want to have happen. Someone who doesn't take no crap from nobody, especially these other countries and all that as well. We need somebody hard as nails as well, like that too. But we need somebody also that can bring some level of hope. And I don't mean hope because, Obama used that as his whole thing, but that's the only word I can think of, So, but I'm not sitting here going like, oh, Obama's amazing, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm just saying, and I'm not putting in my commentary or my thoughts on Obama right now. This is what I'm trying to say, okay? But someone who can actually make us have that feeling that something good is actually coming. I think that this is what Trump did in the very beginning, and that's what he sold to people, okay? He bottled it up, and he put his name Trump on it, and he actually sold it, and people actually ate it up. And they were like, hey, Trump's going to, make America great again. And it sold in the first season, in the first term. But now we're in the second term, and all that he was doing has completely just been obliterated. All that he said that he was going to do has not happened. Sorry. For those who are MAGA till they die, y'all should be pissed right now because there's a lot of things that he said that he was going to do this term that is not happening. In fact, we are seeing him do more off of Project 2025, hold up, than we are actually seeing him do in the policies that he ran upon to get his ass elected for the second time. And I want you to know this too. He also said he had no idea what this Project 2025 is all about. And yet we are seeing that in real time. So in other words, he lied to us about that too. So that's all I'm going to say. So we need somebody who can be charismatic, who can bring the country together, that can bring the country together. That's the most important part right there. Trump is divisive. There's nothing but divide. It's the crazy lunatic left and these demon rats and these Democrats, these evil Democrats, blah, blah, blah. We have not seen in a very long time a country or a presidential candidate that could actually bring the country together in a very long time. Let's start with that first, because we need that more than ever right now. Unfortunately, now you're seeing right now, which we going to talk about here in a little bit, you're seeing right now in real time, even MAGA is losing their minds. Even MAGA is dividing. Even MAGA's starting to eat each other and go after each other and all that. It is absolutely insane. People are leaving MAGA land. People are unplugging themselves from the MAGA matrix, y'all, because of all the crap that we have seen over the last year and some months so far. It's crazy. It's crazy what we've seen. And yet some people, like I've said a million times before, will try to move the goalpost as much as they can because they just can't fathom the idea of Trump being wrong in some of these things and making bad choices and getting us into another potential, still remains to be seen, but potential forever war. And let's not forget this too. Gas prices are not great. They're only going up. They haven't gone down. They're only going up, baby. It's not great. So again, I don't know. I'm tired of these lying politicians. I'm tired of these politicians that have, they act one way, but then in real life they're wearing cockeyed titties. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm tired of that. I'm tired of these candidates that act like they're holier than thou when in actuality they're allegedly SAing assistants and other, women within their office and all that. I'm tired of that stuff. Give me a candidate that's actually a good person, man or woman. I don't care. Give me a candidate to be excited about. Because I have yet to see that in a long time.
They have no choice but to send them. What I think is that we're going to end up with a great deal. I think they have no choice. And I think we're in a very strong negotiating position to do what other presidents should have done during a 47-year period.
A White House official is telling Fox News Vice President J.D. Vance will be attending a meeting at the White House today, while Islamabad, Pakistan is bracing for U.S. delegation's arrival for the latest round of peace talks with Iran. We're still waiting to learn whether Iran will actually show up. The original 2-week ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow evening, Iran time, and President Trump says he does not want to extend it without a deal. Meanwhile, one Democrat lawmaker is coming under fire for his comments on the situation in Iran. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy replied awesome to an X post that said at least 26 Iranian shadow fleet vessels have been able to bypass the U.S. blockade. He since has said that was sarcasm. And here's what he told Fox.
Twitter's become kind of a cesspool. I probably should give up on sarcasm on Twitter. Obviously, anybody that's seen anything that I have said about Trump's war knows that I think it's bungled, mismanaged, and he should end it as quickly as possible. But sarcasm is not something, I guess, that's allowed on Twitter any longer.
Do you regret the post? Are you planning on taking it down, or are you going to keep it up?
I guess I just have to be more careful about sarcasm on Twitter.
Who believes it was sarcasm?
Yeah, I guess nowadays you got to go, awesome, JK. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Maybe that's what you got to do now. Like, I'm joking. It's a joke. Sarcasm, guys. Or, awesome. And then in parentheses, insert sarcasm here. You see what I'm saying? Because, honestly, yeah, I get it.
Sarcasm. Show of hands.
I actually will give him that because I think he was saying like, oh, awesome. It's suggesting like the conflict is not going well. That's the context I read it in. Not complimentary to the White House, but kind of pointing out that he thinks it's not going well. Not awesome like the Iranians are getting around us.
Well, it was all
That's how I
caps,
took it.
so that's a yell. That's an awesome. It's all caps.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he also doesn't know it's not Twitter anymore. I don't know. Maybe his use of social media is weak. But I hear your point.
May I say this, that I believe that he meant it sarcastically, but when he talks about the noise in this measure of disdain, he's the one contributing it to it. He's the one that just recently said that our democracy is being destroyed by our president. He said we have to learn ways to fight back so that we can, take over from the Republicans. How about just earning votes instead of buying them? So I feel like this measure of the instant someone doesn't get the sarcasm or the intention behind an X or tweet, whatever, then he sort of is, oh, you're not smart enough to get it. Isn't this just all crap? It's like, well, you've been contributing to it this entire time. You are one of the ones that perpetuates the snarky, soundbite, dopamine chasing clickbait instead of saying, here's what I want to talk about today and here's some policy without degrading the president on foreign soil. But I think that's a little bit too much.
But do you realize how stupid this is? You really think that there's going to be other people out here? Like, do you realize how much sarcasm that Trump always does every single day? So why are they going off on this guy? You see what I'm saying? Because he had some sarcasm over something that he's not excited about? Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Trump does it all the time. Straight at Trump. You know what I mean? Drink bleach. I know it's going to get people mad. I'm sorry. Hold on. I know. Hold on before you get all wound up. But I'm just saying there's been plenty of opportunities, plenty of moments where people have been, where he's made very sarcastic remarks a million times before. So I really don't understand why people are tripping balls over some dude going on Twitter and making, or X, and making some sarcastic remark. You know? Like that. Come on. You know?
So right off the top, the war with Iran dominates attention as uncertainty around peace talks in Pakistan grows and that ceasefire deadline looms. That deadline, we are told, could happen at 7:50 p.m. Eastern time. That's according to Iranian officials. Now, CBS News senior foreign correspondent MTS Tayyab reports from Pakistan's capital on what negotiators face when they sit down for those crucial talks today.
Well, here in Islamabad, the question everyone is asking is, will they or won't they? Will Iranian negotiators meet the U.S. delegation led by Vice President J.D. Vance, the same teams that just over a week ago spent 21 hours in marathon talks at a luxury hotel here in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad? Of course, historic talks, the first time we've seen such senior U.S. and Iranian officials sit face to face with each other in, frankly, nearly half a century. And are they going to walk away without a deal like we saw last time? Now, behind the scenes, sources tell us Iranian negotiators are under intense pressure from hardliners at home who say no direct talks until the U.S. lifts its blockade of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. Even if these two sides do sit down, there are major gaps over Iran's nuclear program, its proxies in the region, and sanctions relief. Now, the stakes are incredibly high. The two-week Pakistani brokered ceasefire is nearly up, and President Trump insists that the U.S. blockade will remain until there's a deal. So how likely are these talks to happen and succeed? Well, I've been asking around, and there does seem to be an element of optimism here in Pakistan. It's describing it as cautious optimism, but the reality is that both Iran and the U.S. have some pretty maximalist position, not least on the nuclear program and not least on the Strait of Hormuz. How these sides overcome it, seeing each other, it's hard to say, but the fact that they are looking like they will talk again is a pretty encouraging sign for all involved. Back to you.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, meanwhile, President Donald Trump sends some mixed messages about Iran today. On one hand, he says he faces no pressure to make a deal. On the other hand, he threatens to destroy the country's infrastructure if negotiations go south. Now, here's what he said when he was asked about this on CNBC earlier today. Watch.
By the time both parties get there, as you know, they just got the okay to go forward, which I knew they were going to do anyway. I mean, I don't think they had a choice. They have to negotiate. And, the one thing I'll say is this: Iran can get themselves on a very good footing if they make a deal. They can make themselves into a strong nation again, a wonderful nation again. They have incredible people. But they seem to be, bloodthirsty. They're led by some very, very unfortunately tough people. And I don't mean tough in a good way. I think it's very negative for the country because we're much tougher than they are.
Live to the White House and CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi. So, Olivia, just hours to go until that ceasefire expires. What's the president saying this hour?
Well, it's good to see you, Reed. Yeah, the president's still expressing optimism that his team is going to head to Pakistan to have those negotiations with the Iranians. You heard him on CNBC earlier today talking about wanting to make a deal. They're close to making a deal. The U.S. is controlling the strait. The messaging has really been mixed here at the White House because on the one hand, the president has been saying that the strait was open. That's what he said last Friday. And then, of course, over the weekend, it shuttered. And then he started giving what he likes to call the tough talk to the Iranians. That's what he told Fox News, saying that they respond to this tough talk. That's why we're starting to hear these threats again from the president that they would be striking those bridges and power plants, which could be considered civilian infrastructure. Take a listen to what he said to CNBC about that earlier today.
It's not my choice, but it will also hurt them. It'll hurt them militarily. They use the bridges for their weapons, for their missile movements. You know, they're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of their missiles, and they're trying to move their missiles around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've...
And, of course, we've already heard this part, though.
Like much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking. We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes.
And that's the way war goes. But here's the thing, though. Let me just make this abundantly clear. Clearly, all right, and I agree, Ella James, like there's clearly a choice here. There is a choice. He could extend the ceasefire. I know that's going to make him look like Taco. I get that. That's going to make some people feel some type of way. Okay, I get that 110%. I get it. But then there's this other part, though, where I feel that, you know, I don't know if we're going to get to the peace talks today or even tomorrow. So he's almost basically saying, they're forcing my hand. I have no other choice but to do what I got to do. Maybe not. You see what I'm saying? I mean, maybe what he's saying is not right. I don't think this is a matter of his, you know, them forcing his hand or anything of that sort. He literally has in his possession the opportunity to go, let's extend it a little bit. Let's just do a few more days then. And then let's have a conversation, right? Instead of actually just dropping bombs on everything. There are choices that could be made here. And he's not choosing those, or at least saying out loud he's not choosing those options. You see what I'm saying? Multi-tiered options here, and he's not going there, right? Now, this obviously, this whole war has caused a lot of people in the MAGA world, has caused them to feel some type of way, so much that some people are even distancing themselves even more from the likes of Trump, which is absolutely insane. And I got to be honest, Tucker Carlson, yes, we talking about Tucky. Okay, Kentucky Fried Carlson. Okay, we have got to talk about this really quick. And it's very, very insane. But now even Tucker Carlson is basically saying, oh, snap, my bad. Now, I already have my feelings and how I feel about Tucker Carlson, okay? I think I don't have good things to say about the guy, okay? His laugh is hilarious. That's all I got so far. There are a few things recently that I've been like, yeah, okay, whoa, it's opposite day because I agree with some of the things that he's been saying. But there's other things that I'm like, wow, he is a piece of trash. Okay? And he's also one of the people, I'm sorry. I know some of y'all are very big fans of Tucker, and you are cool. Hey, we are all allowed to like and dislike who we want. That is the freedoms that we have as Americans. Okay? Dag nabbit, I salute you. But here's the thing. He's also somebody for 10 plus years was advocating for Trump, pushing for Trump to be in office, because he's the way. He's great. He's so on and so forth. He's also, let me remind you, same guy who basically said that, white people, white Americans are becoming more obsolete. Yes, he did say stuff like that, okay? Guys, he's not, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of him. But it is interesting when you see the person who was one of the biggest advocates for MAGA, one of the biggest advocates for Trump, suddenly change his tune. And it's not only just him. It's the likes of Megyn Kelly's, the Candy Owens the Marjorie Taylor Greens the Alex Jones They're all starting to go, oh, damn, we may have gotten behind the wrong dude. Lo siento. Are bad cabrons. If that's the plural for cabron. Oops. Take a listen to what he has to say here. He's like, oh, snap. I'll be tormented for a long time by the fact that I played a role in getting Donald Trump elected. We're implicated in this. I misled people. Word? What world are we in? This is the upside down. It is official. We are in the freaking upside down. Take a look.
Looking back, because, you and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. We're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences.
I'm sorry. What in the hell is going on with this world? Oh my God. Now you got him being like, I just can't believe that Trump did exactly what everybody's been predicting. I just can't believe it. And now I can't sleep well at night, brother. Because he's talking to his brother, by the way. No, they don't have the same hairstylist. They're brothers. Yeah. I just can't believe this is what's happening. And I will not sleep well at night ever again, realizing that I helped get this man get elected. Heavens to Betsy.
We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway.
I'm sorry. But anyway, huh? Say what? What you say? Hold on. We gotta roll that back. Okay, play that beautiful bean footage one more time, okay?
We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all.
Sorry. We're not here to mislead people, but we are on our way to a massive drop and a possible World War III and absolute carnage and possible famine and economic turmoil. But no, sorry about that. It wasn't in my intention. But anyway, okay.
But anyway, the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
Looking back, because
I got to roll this again. I'm sorry. One more time for all y'all in the nosebleed seats, okay? And let this soak all the way down to your furry plums.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. We're implicated in this for sure.
No doubt.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now. Yeah.
A lot of them. The Joe Rogans is, the Theo Vons is, the Andrew Schulz is, the Ben Shapiro's is, the Matt Walsh's is, the Tim Pool's is. All of them, and then some. All of them should be like, yo, my bad. I'm really sorry. That was a bad choice. Yeah, the Charlie Kirkses is. All of them. All of them. Yeah, the Jake Pauls is. I mean, you could list this on and 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 on. The list goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't stop, okay? And let me just be real. The brother here, okay, this is his brother. This is Tucker Carlson's brother. He was writing speeches for Trump. So you got his speechwriter and Tucker Carlson brothers who were basically hoisting Trump to be our leader. And now they're going, yeah, we done mucked up. That was a bad choice. That was wrong. Damn. That didn't help. But anyway, and you can't forget the maniacal Tucker Carlson laugh. He's not doing that here, but you got to throw it in there because it's not Tucker Carlson without that, right? But ain't that about a shut your mouth?
Yes. So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all.
I would love for him to do this directly to the camera. Now, I have not seen this whole interview, but I would hope at some point within this interview or within this episode, he turns straight over to the camera, straight into that lens and says, our bad. My bad. I made a mistake. Sorry. That's what we should be hearing. But it's very off the cuff, very off to the side, like, meh, sorry. Yeah, we'll be tormented about this forever. But anyway, let's talk about this other thing. I'm just curious about these conspiracy theories and all these things, how terrible MAGA is. MAGA, 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 MAGA bad, right? He won't. I don't think he will. But he has been doing it for a minute, a little bit to a certain extent. You know, he's starting to say things. He's starting to, you see the conversion happening, for lack of a better term, right? He's converting out of the religion, which is MAGA, to find his own way, his own path, his own faith, his own political bias, right? We're starting to see that. In fact, thank you, Wildcard. Yes, he did call Trump the Antichrist just the other day. I mean, seriously, I hit the wrong button. I mean, seriously, he called him the Antichrist. Hold on. Don't I have a monster voice?
He called him the Antichrist.
Yes, that's weird, right? He even said that he's the Antichrist. Crazy. Crazy. But what else is new? Now we're in this world, okay? Where MAGA is slowly but surely starting to go, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. And they're stepping away. They're freaking out because it's all bad. Except for like the Laura Loomers and all that. They're just Laura Loomer just crazy. Okay. I've never seen, I mean, she's like a Clayton Bigsby of Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? She kind of like a Clayton Bigsby. Okay. If you don't know Clayton Bigsby, look it up. Okay. A black white supremacist. She kind of like the Jewish version of that. You know what I'm saying? She's crazy. That woman crazy. Do you know how crazy she is? She's freaking crazy. But that's another conversation in itself. She's crazy, though. Crazy. Okay, so right now we know that this is what's going on, right? We don't know if we're getting into a full-on peace talks anytime soon. And if we don't do this with Iran, then all hell is about to hit. All hell is about to break loose. I was about to say all hell is about to hit the fan. Ish is about to hit the fan. All hell is about to break loose. And this is not good. We don't need that. Okay? We don't need that right now. But we'll see. We're waiting to see what the turnout is going to be, right? Fingers crossed that they come to some sort of agreement very, very soon. But here's the other thing, though, too. Remember, Trump will be willing to say whatever he can because he wants to save the market and keep playing with it so it can keep going up and down. Because when it goes down, you can buy, and then when it goes up, you can sell. See what I'm saying? And this is exactly what we're seeing right now. It gets volatile, it keeps going up. The more money these people are, the more money they make, right? So that's the thing. It's pretty bad. Now, there is something I forgot. I wanted to share this. Before we go into the David talk, because we do need to talk about David, D4vd, okay? We need to talk about that, okay? For sure. But there is something that I do want to play. This is just a little bit. This is a little bit of this video. And we should consider this a very big deal. And we should be very, very worried about the outcome of what's going on with oil. Because it does matter with so many different things. It's a multi-tiered problem that we're in. Okay? It's a multi-tiered problem that we're in. I want to make that abundantly clear, because it's not just gas. Like, all of us are like kicking the dirt and go, dagnabbit, it's $4.12, man. You know what I mean? I get the anger. I get all of that. Trust me, I get the frustration, but we are seriously looking at some bad things right now, and we haven't got hit with it yet. That's the problem. Now, Andre Jeek, hopefully I'm saying his name right, okay, did a video, and I thought that this was, I stumbled upon this morning, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh, damn, we are seriously in some serious problems. And here's the other thing, too. How much are they really telling us the truth? When they say, we've got enough oil, we got enough gas, we won't need any more. We don't need them. We're fine. How much of that is actually true? How much of that is actually true? How much of that is them actually telling us the truth? Because a lot of the whole world uses oil to run. Millions, hundreds of millions of gallons of oil is used per day, if I'm correct. We need as much oil as we can in every country. And when he says we're fine, I instantly say, oh, I could see the whole world's butthole pucker up and go, you are lying, Trump. You are not telling us the truth. You say we fine. That usually means the opposite. Let's take a look at this. This should concern us all. I'm only going to play a little bit of this, okay? But I highly recommend you guys go check out this video. We've talked about fertilizer. We've already talked about food and how food prices are going to go up. Fertilizer is going to become more scarce. Gas, we already saw. We already seen the problems, okay? Right now, we are in some serious trouble. And he uses a great analogy in here that you're going to see here. Just take a look.
Okay, so we have to talk about oil and how it's about to affect the entire world, because I think we're being lied to.
Somebody shorted the oil market today by hundreds of millions of dollars exactly 20 minutes before Trump made his announcement that everything was going to be great. And if you see that once, it could be a coincidence. But that's happened at least 3 times, if not more, since the war began.
I think that should be something that we all should be concerned about. You see what I'm saying? People are getting rich off this ish, guys. People are getting rich off this war, y'all.
That's a pattern.
The theory is that all of this back and forth about the strait is open, the strait is closed, well then it's open, and now it's closed again, it's actually really easy to explain. It's a way for insiders to manipulate the stock markets. Because last Friday, we were told the Strait of Hormuz was finally open, which is a huge reason why the price of paper oil went way down and the markets rallied to a new all-time high. Only to find out that over the weekend, that's not the case at all, and the strait is still very much closed, and maps are showing a lot of the ships were being routed back, and now no ships are allowed to pass. Now, there's also a lot of really weird things starting to happen as well. Like, for example, there seems to be a virus that's infecting the world's gas infrastructure. There are now dozens and dozens of energy pipelines that have caught fire or accidentally exploded.
Wasn't there a fire in with an oil? Hold on. It just made me think of this because Messi sent this to me on X, and we got to take a look at this. Hold on. Yeah, oil rig explosion near Etoile, Texas, or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, reports of oil rig explosion in Texas. And we've been seeing places going up in flames, right? Oil rigs, oil infrastructure, etc., all going up in flames as of recently. Have we not seen that recently? Don't you find that a little bit odd? We should be finding that odd, but let's continue, baby.
And this dates all the way back from March of this year, and it's happening all across the world. And because all of this flow of energy is not allowed to move freely, there are now warnings that the world is about to go through a really bad recession.
The International Monetary Fund is warning of a worldwide recession if the war in the Middle East doesn't end soon. If the conflict drags on, the IMF says energy and food prices will spike higher, stunting economic growth across the globe.
Now hold on, maybe everything will be fine for the US, right? Because we're told that the US is a net exporter of oil. But the reality is that the United States actually imports more crude oil than it exports. And here's the math. We bring in about 6.3 million barrels a day and send out about 4.1 million. That makes us a net importer, aka consumer, of 2.2 million barrels a day. You can't be a net importer of something and also be the world's supplier of it. That math just doesn't make sense. And all of this confusion about how much we actually have or don't have is exactly why the price of oil is 2 completely different numbers depending on where you look. One of those numbers is the paper price. The other is the price oil actually costs in the real world if a country needs a barrel delivered to it today. And the gap between those 2 numbers is about $35, which is the biggest spread ever recorded in history.
When we talk about commodities, there is a huge difference between what you see on the screen and how much you pay to get that commodity. So you see the screen, $90 a barrel. Good luck if you get an oil barrel for $90. It's $120, $130, $140, $150, $160 even.
The paper price of oil is what's called Brent futures. That's sitting at around $100 a barrel. If you Google what oil is worth right now, that is the number you're going to be shown. But the physical price, which is what it actually costs to buy a real barrel of oil that gets put onto a real ship and delivered to a real refinery, that costs over $130, depending on the day. That is called dated Brent, which is oil for actual physical delivery 10 to 30 days in the future. Now the question is, why does this gap exist and what does it mean? And the reason the gap exists is because the people who need actual oil right now are paying whatever it takes to get it. But the paper market is still pretending everything is fine. How come? The theory is that it's because the paper markets are being used as a mechanism to suppress the price of oil psychologically to calm the markets down. Here's a chart from JP Morgan. It shows that spread going back to 2008. And for almost 20 years, those two prices, paper oil and physical oil, basically moved together. They were maybe $1 or $2 apart, maybe $5 in a crisis, but the gap right now is way outside of anything we've ever seen. And the last time something even close to this happened was during COVID, when oil went negative for a very short time, but that's what economists called a demand collapse, when nobody was buying anything because nobody was traveling. This is the opposite. This is a supply emergency. Now, unfortunately, peace talks and negotiations have failed, which means the war is technically not over. But the White House is taking a victory lap, and the stock market is coming back up. We're told everything is going to be fine, and the US just became the world's gas station again.
Okay. What did I say earlier? I've been saying this for a while now. And now we're hearing from Andre. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, which this is a really great video. I highly recommend you guys watch the entire thing when you get a chance, when you get a second. Okay. He's echoing the same thing I'm saying, just in a much more eloquent and in much more intelligent way, which is they're manipulating the market. Someone out there is making a whole lot of money off of all this. They're trying to give off the vibe that everything is fine, but then we see different 5 seconds later. The stock market will go back up, it'll start exploding, etc. Prices will drop, but then 2 seconds later, something else will happen. Yeah, creep show. It's like cooking the books, right? It's changing things around for some sort of financial gain. Or because they're worried about everything going belly up, everything going bad, so they're trying everything they can to try to maintain the status quo. But in actuality, it looks all sketchy. Exactly, Ella. It looks all sketchy, and it makes all of us give a hard side eye to this whole situation. Because at the end of the day, things aren't getting any better. Things are only going to get worse. And we haven't even got hit with the stuff yet. Wait for it.
But the data is telling us something is going very wrong, and I think the worst of it probably hasn't hit us at the gas pump yet.
Bingo.
The effect.
It's coming. I'm sorry. I hate to say that to y'all. But if things don't get in good shape yet, in good shape here, very, very soon, we are in some serious trouble. That's it. We are in some serious, serious trouble. We don't want that. I know you don't want it. I don't want it. But right now, there's another video. I forgot the name of it, but they explained, we already talked about this too, that boats run slow. So the things that we haven't even seen yet in America, in other countries as well, some have already seen it because, you know, it's shorter distance, right? There's a shorter distance to certain countries. You see what I'm saying? But at some point here, very, very soon, America's going to feel this. We're going to feel the change drastically. Okay? Yeah, XDG. It's like about a month or so out. And then it's going to be bad. Remember what we're seeing out in Ireland, in the likes of India, in other countries? People are literally battling each other in lines for gas just so they can get one little drop of gas right now. You have Ireland, people in Ireland protesting in the streets over the fact that they can't get affordable gas, right? It's all very, very bad. Don't worry, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Don't worry. I'll get there. Let's get this going, okay? I'll get the link in the chat here in a little bit. I promise, all right? Give me a hot minute, all right? But nonetheless, this is all going to turn out to be bad. And it's more than just gas, y'all. Yeah, there's lines in Asia waiting for gas as well, little top. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And we don't see it in real time. We don't see it all up in our face, but we're going to see it in America too. Remember, they're saying we have plenty. We are fine. We're doing just fine. We have plenty of things. We are, it is plentiful what we have in our arsenal. But is that entirely true? That's the question I'm asking. Is it entirely true? Let's continue.
Effects are starting to be felt in different parts of the world, but not in the US yet. So in this video, I want to help explain exactly what I think is going on and when all of this actually starts to affect us at the gas pump and in the stock market. So with that said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the world when it's your turn to be an adult. Do you remember watching Interstellar when they landed on that one planet and they were like, oh look, mountains. But it turned out those weren't mountains. It was a giant tsunami. That's kind of how I'm seeing the world right now. The effect of this war has sort of been set in motion, and we're looking around and we're seeing the mountains, and the market seems fine, and oil is not that much more expensive, but on the horizon, something is coming. What is that something, and when is it getting here? So there's a couple questions I'm trying to understand. Like, how bad is the oil shortage right now? Which parts of the world are gonna feel it first? And what's happening in the global bond market? And how will this affect the investment markets, if at all? Because the stock market seems to be doing just fine. Okay, let's start with how much oil is now missing. So all of this, of course, goes back to the Strait of Hormuz, where 1/5 of the whole world's oil and gas used to go through every single day. And remember, oil is not just gasoline. Oil is how food gets to grocery stores. It's how factories run. It's how planes fly.
All things that I've said. All things that I've already said. So I'm just saying, if you're not going to listen to me, okay, because I know I'm funny, you know, I throw out jokes and all that. But in all seriousness, I'm like, okay, let me show you a guy who knows what the hell he's talking about, and he's making very strong points. Maybe you'll listen to me here this way. So I'm playing this so you guys can understand fully what's going on. Now, I'm not going to play this whole doggone thing. But again, yes, XDG, oil runs this planet. And without oil, we could be walking into some very catastrophic problems. Here's the other thing too. While we are going through these catastrophic problems that could be as bad as the lockdown we just went through, or even worse than the lockdown we went through, except this time is not some viral, you know, some type of epidemic, you know, or a pandemic going on, right? It could be much worse and much more detrimental. And then at the same time, we could be going in fights, in wars with Iran at the same damn time. Marching into a forever war whilst our energy sources are depleting, whilst we are all stuck at home, not allowed to go out, use our cars, etc., while we have rolling blackouts going on throughout the entire country, throughout the entire world, potentially. As much as they say that they're going to blow them back to the Stone Age, they might knock us back a couple decades or two here too. Again, this is all very, very bad, and we have not seen the full effect of it yet.
And ships move, and fertilizer gets produced, right? And plastics get made. Oil is the plumbing system of the whole economy. And so the question is, how much oil is now missing, and how much does the world need? Turns out, the world uses about 100 million barrels of oil every single day. That's at full capacity. What's missing right now is somewhere between 8 to 13 million barrels of that per day. That doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot. For context, the United States uses about 20 million barrels a day. So we're talking about losing the equivalent of half of America's daily oil usage. This is every day for weeks now. Now, one energy fund manager I came across put a specific number on the total damage, which is that the world will have lost 780 million barrels over the course of this conflict. Now, for context, the whole U.S. SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, holds about 400 million barrels. But it was already half empty before the war started.
Damn.
So we're talking about losing twice the entire emergency reserves the United States spent decades saving up. Now, obviously, countries have prepared for stuff like this, but they still won't have enough to cover what was lost without paying those higher prices. For example, US spare capacity is at about 1 million barrels a day. Venezuela, under 1 million. Canada, via Pacific routes, under 1 million. And if you add every alternative together, you'll get about 2.8 million barrels per day from all the temporary emergency stockpiles. 2.8 million barrels against a whole of 8 to 13 million, which means reserves will eventually run out and there will be a shortage. So then, when is the world going to start feeling the effect of this missing oil? And according to the best research I was able to find, most likely sometime in mid to late April is when those global oil supplies run out. We are in mid-April right now.
No kidding.
So the next question is, which countries are going to start to feel the effects of all of this first? Okay, so the effect of this whole blockade is already happening to the rest of the world right now. And the tsunami's coming, but it's affecting certain countries more than others. Asia, for example, got hit first and the hardest. Deliveries to Asia basically stopped on April 1st. And Asia sources roughly 80% of its oil from the Persian Gulf. What's getting through right now is only about 6% of pre-war volumes. Now, the Philippines was also one of the first countries to declare their national emergency after their gas prices more than doubled almost overnight. Indonesia and Vietnam told people to work from home to conserve fuel.
And you know that this is going to come. If they don't get their ish together and we can't come up with some sort of agreement and all that, and I'm not here to fearmonger. You know what I mean? We got better things to do than to fearmonger right now. But these are facts and these are things that are actually going on in other countries. So if it's happening in other countries, just remember, this could be a foreshadowing. This could be a very strong foreshadowing of what could come to America or to any of your countries that you're watching this show right here. This is a potential for absolute catastrophic disaster.
In Thailand, their fishing industry, which is about 1% of their whole economy, is shutting down because marine fuel costs went up by 250%.
Yikes. So I'm just saying, some people might need to start learning how to farm, y'all. Y'all got a green thumb? Okay. Yeah. See, Vlad, you ain't wrong. This whole mess started when he threw the first punch, Trump. And what's sad is that we will be blamed for all of this. If everything goes belly up, we, America, is going to be looked at as the bad guy. We will have a gigantic, massive target on our back because of this situation. If they cannot figure this out and get some peace talks going, they better get these peace talks going or it's going to be bad. I'm telling you right now, or other alternatives are going to need to happen. And what's also, and I already know before I even say anything, okay, I already know that it costs, it costs a lot, or, it is still environmentally bad to use these types of vehicles. But I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be looking at Elon a lot. They're going to be looking at Teslas and electric cars like crazy, even though right now, what happened? What happened? Trump said we will never have those, electric cars anymore. This Green Earth bill or whatever, the Green Act bill or whatever the hell it was called. We're just going to throw that out the window. Forget all that. What did that do to the automobile industry in America? It knocked us back. It knocked us back several years, while other countries and other businesses are thriving, creating these electric cars without problems. And those businesses are doing very well. And instead of him actually saying, okay, we do need these electric cars, so on and so forth, or at least these hybrids, he's saying, no, we're not doing that. We just need gas. Drill, baby, drill. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. He screwed up that whole situation. So if we even look at that situation, as far as companies, businesses that, like American-made cars and businesses that are booming here in America, all of them are about to get hit hard because of this situation. And there's not enough. There's not enough for a huge surplus of individuals that are trying to buy those cars right now. Because right now, electric cars are looking sexy as hell, if you ask me. If it keeps going this way, shoot. But then here's the other thing, too. If we don't have enough oil to run this country, right, then electric cars are going to be obsolete, too. Think about that. Because you're going to need energy to put power in that mother-loving Tesla or in that electric car that you buy. And if we don't have enough power to run the country and keep all the lights on, for lack of a better term, then the electric car is obsolete as well. So in other words, your son's 10-speed bike looking real sexy now. Those running shoes, woo, they look hella sexy now, aren't they? You know what I mean? Better carb up, y'all, and get that wind back in your lungs, because it looks like we gonna be walking and riding bikes for a good while if things go completely, absolutely haywire. Okay, I'm just gonna play a little bit more of this, okay, real quick.
Japan, bus and ferry services are slowing down because of fuel shortages. In India, the government stopped LPG supplies for commercial use to protect household cooking fuel. In Mumbai, roughly 20% of hotels and restaurants had already been shut down by early March. In Africa, last deliveries to Africa stopped on April 10th. Countries like Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, South Sudan, they're now literally diluting their petrol. They're mixing it with other chemicals to stretch what's left. And they're also restricting electricity. Australia's last fuel shipment is expected to arrive April 19th. They've already released their national reserves.
It's supposed to show up April 19th. It's the 21st now, just so y'all know.
They've cut fuel taxes, and they put together a national security plan. And then there's Europe. Their deliveries stopped around April 10th as well, which is why they're doing everything in their power to reduce demand.
How can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
So that's not looking good. The dominoes are starting to fall. But what about the United States? JP Morgan says we're basically the last in line to be affected, with most deliveries expected to have stopped on April 15th. The final crude cargoes reached Texas on April 1st and California on April 8th, which means the buffer that's been protecting us from feeling this at the gas pump, that buffer's gone. So the question is, how many more weeks of this can we expect before oil prices react and we actually start to feel it? JP Morgan puts a specific date on when this will happen. The last tanker to clear Hormuz before the closure was February 28th. That ship is expected to reach its final destination around April 20th.
April 20th was yesterday. Happy 420, y'all.
That is the moment JP Morgan says pre-closure barrels are fully used up from the global supply chain, and after that, there's no more buffer.
Damn.
And what that means is the physical price and the paper price will have to converge. Now hold on. If all of this is already happening, why is the paper price of oil still pretty low, especially after we learned that ceasefire talks failed? Oil prices should have gone up, right? But they went down.
Yeah.
And the best theory that explains this suggests that someone placed huge bets that oil prices would fall around the ceasefire announcement.
Oh, really?
Interesting, don't you think? That's wild. I've already said that, like, I want to, man, I want to finish this video, but I can't. Okay. But this clearly shows to me, yes, Yolande. Yes. Yes, Ella. Insider trading, manipulation, and all of them things. Like I said before, someone is getting very rich right now. Someone is getting very, some people, how about that? Maybe it's not just a someone. It is more than just someone. People are getting very rich right now off of this stuff. Like, how would they know? How would they know to do this? I'm sorry, let's continue, but that's wild. Okay, this is a very good video, guys. Seriously, if you got I say there's 13 more minutes of this video. If you got 13 more minutes, to watch this later, while you brush your teeth or dropping a deuce or cooking dinner or whatever the heck it is, I highly recommend you guys watch the rest of this video. This guy did a very, very good job on this video. Okay. But I'm going to play a tiny bit more. It's this whole thing gets thicker than a mother-loving snicker. Damn.
In fact, they're doing an investigation into it. Those are called short positions. Now remember, a short position in oil futures means that eventually, when that contract expires, you either close it out or you have to actually deliver physical oil. And the theory is that the ceasefire may have been partially engineered to give whoever placed those shorts one last window to exit their positions before the physical reality makes the paper price really impossible to hold. And Chris Martenson, who I cited earlier in this video, made a prediction about this. He said whoever it is that's dumping paper oil futures cannot actually deliver the oil when the time comes. And maybe they don't have any intention of delivering it.
Right now, the oil price is being heavily contained and capped by someone. Everybody knows that it's the United States government somehow, either directly or through proxies, has been actively suppressing the price of oil, which they can only do for about another week here before it starts to really blow up on them, figuratively speaking.
What that means is someone is selling promises of oil at $100 a barrel, knowing they will never actually produce said oil. They're using the paper market as a psychological tool to calm the market down. But when those contracts come due, when the buyer says, okay, where's my oil? There will be a forced buying event. The entity that sold those contracts will have to buy them back at whatever the market price is at that moment.
Sheesh.
So if physical oil is at 130 or 140 or whatever it is, that's what they'll pay. That will be a short squeeze. And it's one of the mechanisms that can cause the paper price to catch up to the physical price very, very fast. Now the next question is...
Okay, so I of course, I got to stop it there, okay? I highly recommend you guys go and check out the full video, okay? He's dropping nothing but knowledge bombs. And yes, it's a very concerning situation. Let me just be completely real, because we are in a very strange and very weird time right now, especially with what's going on in Iran. And then Trump is basically saying, oh, we don't need it. We're fine. We got oil. We got this, that, and the third. But in actuality, we're seeing something completely different. And also at the same time, we should give a damn about what's going on outside of our neck of the woods, meaning we should be looking at what's going on in the countries surrounding America. Okay, even those who are watching from Australia, watching in UK, all that. We should be watching and seeing how these other countries are reacting to this situation, because a lot of them are getting hit and feeling this much faster than the rest of the world. And right now, there's a potential of us being screwed here, absolutely screwed. And that's all of us. It's not only just, India and, Ireland and the UK or any of these other countries that are having issues right now. All of us could all feel the brunt of what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz being open and closed and open and closed and open and closed again. And then there are greedy individuals out here that are literally manipulating the system so that they can walk away with a big fat ass bag. But at some point, those individuals who are stacking up on this bread, eventually that bread won't be enough. If it gets really bad, money will be obsolete. It won't even stand or even have anything. It'll be literally paper. So again, we have got to be careful on what's going on here. And we really need to watch what's going on with this ceasefire talks or peace talks, if they're not doing peace talks and all that. If Trump decides to pull the trigger and go off on the Iranian civilization itself, their infrastructure, this could have massive, massive effects for the rest of the world. Again, WW Trace, y'all. We ain't got time for that crap. So much for him being President Peace, am I right? This is crazy. All right. Hip hop, thank you so much. We remember when they did it 1 hour before SM Open. SM? Stock market open. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, guys, this is all bad. This is all bad. It's all bad. Again, though, anything's possible. Because you know for a fact, Trump is very concerned about the market. He doesn't want the market to implode. He doesn't want things to go, he doesn't want everything to go into a downward spiral. He most definitely doesn't want that. Remember that. He doesn't want that. Because that makes him look like a fool. And then his face and name will forever be attached to this catastrophic situation that he put us in. He has to come out on top. He has to win. And if he doesn't do that, his name will forever go down in infamy as one of the worst presidents ever that put us into this financial hole. Remember that. So hopefully he's going to do everything he can to fix this thing, but we'll see. Trace, thank you so much for the love. Yes, we're paying $12 a gallon in the UK. Wow. That's insane, y'all. $12 a gallon in UK. Think about that. And we're looking over here at an average of $4 and what, 12 cents or something like that. Maybe it's changed since the last time I saw it, but still it's above $4. And you got other countries, you got other countries that are paying $12 a gallon. This is not funny. And should be a massive concern for all of us. So I'm hoping he tacos. Okay? I really am hoping he tacos because again, if he doesn't, man, are we in a world of trouble. Just saying that out loud. We are in a world of trouble. Now, we have got to get into this conversation, okay? We haven't talked about David yet, and we definitely need to talk about David. Okay, D4vd. Now, if you don't know what's been going on with D4vd, let me tell you what's going on with D4vd. Okay, he has been charged with first-degree M. He is looking at the possibility of the ultimate price, paying the ultimate price, which is the DP. This man is screwed, okay? And rightfully so. He's a disturbing, disgusting individual. And now we got some paperwork that we need to take a look at. Yeah, they have come out with what they believe he is alleged of doing. Not only did he have nasty, disturbing, lascivious relations with the likes of Celeste Rivas, but he plotted her demise. He did it. Then he mutilated her remains and then stuffed her remains in the front trunk of his Tesla. And what they're saying is that he stuffed her remains in that Tesla for 4 whole months, y'all. 4 months she was stuffed in that car, which I don't believe. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that theory. I don't agree with that. I honestly think that he moved her around over the 4 months. Because imagine him driving around in that car and she is in the front trunk. Not once did he ever open the front trunk of that car, ever. It just seems a little weird. And then if he was driving in the car with a friend, wouldn't his friend be like, yo, your car smells terrible, bro? You see what I'm saying? Because that's a smell, guys. It comes out. A smell emulates, okay? It's not like it was just sitting there chilling, okay? Especially with LA weather and all that. It is absolutely insane. And remember, she was last seen in April 23rd, 2025, and then she was found in September in his car. Okay? They say that she had been in there for 4 whole months. So during that time, during those 4 months, it wasn't winter time. It wasn't super cold out. This is still spring and summertime. Literally, her body was in that car for that duration of time. At least that's what they're alleging. So again, this is some crazy stuff, but I got to share with y'all because this is just some diabolical stuff. And mind you, I am going to be using some code words. Be forewarned, okay? But these are the counts that he's looking at, okay? This is insane. The undersigned is informed and believes that count 1, on or about April 23rd, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of the M word, okay, in violation of Penal Code Section 187, okay, a felony was committed by David Anthony Burke, okay, also known as, okay, AKA D4vd, who did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Celeste, a human being. Okay? So that's part 1. It is further alleged, I'm going to move down because it's all like technical jargon. Okay? It is further alleged that the M, the unaliving of Celeste Rivas, was intentional and was carried out by the defendant, D4vd, for financial gain within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2A1. Now, I want you guys to know first off, it was intentional. So that means it was premeditated. He thought of doing this. He thought of what to do. The theory is she said, I'm about to put you on blast and destroy your life and let everybody know that you did this to me, a 14-year-old girl. Okay. And they say it could be as young as 13, by the way. And I'm about to expose your whole ass and your whole career is going to go up in flames. Right? Now, they say that he got worried, planned the attack, asked her to meet up with him on April 23rd of 2025. And that's when he allegedly took her life. He did it for financial gain because he didn't want to get caught and ruin his whole entire career. Let's not forget that too. All right. It is further alleged that pursuant to Penal Code Section PC 190.2A10 that Celeste Rivas was a witness to a crime and was intentionally unalive because of that fact. In other words, he SA'd her, hence the reason why she is a witness to a crime, because she was not of age when he had relations with her. It is further alleged that the M, or the unaliving of Celeste Rivas, was committed by D4vd, and that the defendant intentionally unalived the victim by means of lying in wait within the Penal Code Section 190.2A15. So in other words, he waited, he plotted, and he waited for that moment to pounce. He knew that he was going to take her life. He asked her to show up, meet up with him, and then when the time he thought was right, he made that fatal blow. It is further alleged that the commission and attempted commission of the above offense, the said defendant, D4vd, personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon or weapons, to wit, sharp object. He used a sharp object to take her life. Said use not being an element of the above offense within the Penal Code Section 12022B1, but and causing the above offense to be a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 1192.7C23. So count 2, on or between September 7th, 2023 and September 7th, 2024. So a whole year in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of continuous SA. So he was SAing her for, they're alleging, a full-on year in violation of Penal Code Section 288.5A. A felony was committed by D4vd, who did unlawfully engage in 3 or more acts of substantial sexual conduct, as defined in Penal Code Section 1203.066B. And the 3 and more lewd and lascivious acts as defined in Penal Code Section 288 with Celeste Rivas, a child under the age of 14 years, while the defendant resided with and had recurring access to the child. So now they're saying that, hey, he was living with her and they were having a continuous relationship of the carnal nature. Okay? The above, so they say, notice the above offense is a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 1192.7C and a violent felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 667.5C. Okay? Conviction of this offense will require you to register pursuant to Penal Code Section 290. Willful failure to register is a crime. Conviction of this crime will require the court to order you to submit a blood test for evidence or of antibodies, to the probable causative agent of acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Penal Code Section 1202.1. Being charged with this criminal offense can result in mandatory pre-conviction HIV/AIDS testing and disclosure of results to a victim and the chief medical officer of the jail or prison facility where you are incarcerated pursuant to Penal Code Section 1524.1 and Health and Safety Code Section 121055. Following a probable cause hearing resulting in that court order. See, this is the one thing I'm kind of confused about. What's up with the high five? What's up with the hivvy being involved? Conviction of this offense will require the court to order you to submit a blood test for evidence of antibodies to the probable causative agent of AIDS. Did she have AIDS? I mean, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Did she contract something? Maybe not. Maybe it's just a precaution, but that seems a little bit weird, right? Very interesting. I'm just asking the question. That seems weird, right? I mean, it also adds a little bit more to the story, possibly. Think about it. They're going, well, we need you to run tests to see if you have this, this thing, which is a very, very terrible and dangerous thing to contract, if you get what I'm saying. What are the chances of her actually finding out that she was sick and got mad and then said, I'm about to expose you and destroy your life, and therefore he freaked out? Like, it could have been worse. It could have been that. But that's weird, right? Why? Okay, maybe that's just a routine checkup. Maybe it is. That just seems so strange. You know what I mean? So count 3. On or about May 5th, 2025, the county of Los Angeles, the crime of unlawful mutilation of human remains in violation of Health and Safety Code Section 7052, a felony was committed by D4vd, who did willfully and unlawfully mutilate remains known to be human, specifically the remains of Celeste Rivas. So, upon felony conviction for the above offense, prison custody time is to be served in state prison pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170. So they're asking him to provide DNA samples, print impressions, okay, willful refusal to provide these types of samples and impressions is actually a crime. They're asking the intent to present evidence and seek injury findings regarding all applicable circumstances in aggravation. Suspected child abuse report, a SCAR, may have generated within the meaning of Penal Code 11166 or 11166 and 11168 involving the charges alleged in this complaint. Dissemination of a SCAR, okay, of the suspected child abuse report is limited by Penal Code 11167 and 11167.5. And the court orders required for full disclosure of the contents of SCAR. So interesting that the information that they are putting out here, that he had a very disgusting and a very illegal relationship with Celeste Rivas. That is for sure. That's without question. It's pretty insane to me that he was doing this for a very long time. At least that's what they're alleging. Now, the prosecutor, okay, Hochman, did do an interview on Jesse Weber's show on News Nation, and I want us to check that out. But this is just insane. Let's take a look.
Charged in the death of the 14-year-old girl whose body was reportedly dismembered in his car all the way back in September. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman is going to join me live in just a little bit. I have a ton of questions. Also tonight, House Oversight Committee has launched a probe into the deaths or disappearances of nearly a dozen scientists who have worked in U.S. nuclear or rocket technology. This is something that Oversight Chairman James Comer called a potential, quote, grave threat to U.S. national security if the reports are accurate. This is a major escalation. And then later, the U.S. government, big developments today.
Yeah, that whole situation is very crazy. And we've just scratched the surface on the show just a little bit ago. But this is absolutely crazy, guys. All right. That story, right? But this is interesting too. So let's take a listen to what he has to say about this whole situation. Okay.
Charges against David. 7 months in the making. The singer David, real name David Anthony Burke, was arraigned today out in Los Angeles in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Last September, her dismembered and decomposed body was found inside of a Tesla allegedly registered to Burke. And today, Celeste's family was in court as the 21-year-old entered a plea of not guilty. Now, Burke faces multiple charges here, including one that could put the death penalty on the table, even though there's a moratorium on executions in California. But we're talking first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a minor, and mutilation of human remains. At today's presser, District Attorney Nathan Hochman said that this murder charge includes 3 special circumstances allegations: lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and killing a witness in an investigation. So prosecutors allege, essentially, that Burke killed Celeste to protect his budding music career after she threatened to report their sexual relationship. The district attorney also saying that relationship may have begun when she was as young as 13 years old. Now, Hochman announced a special allegation that Burke personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon described as a sharp instrument to commit this crime. Burke's attorneys, though, they fired back. They maintain his innocence. They sent us this statement. The actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. And yes, to be clear, David is innocent until proven guilty. And normally, this would be the point where I start connecting the dots of walking through what prosecutors say happened. I don't have to do that tonight. Why? Because the man bringing these charges is here with us. Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman joins us now live. Thank you so much for taking the time, sir. I know this is an important day for you, your office, Celeste's family, but I have been following this case every day for 7 months. So I have a lot of questions for you, and I was hoping you could clarify some things. First of all, can you tell us why David wasn't charged on Friday when he was arrested? Because I understand there were reports of a grand jury was hearing evidence. So usually, right, there would be an indictment and an arrest in conjunction. Why wasn't he charged on Friday?
So while you are right that the reports have been that there was an investigative grand jury, in California, there's a difference between the grand juries. There's an investigative grand jury that hears testimony, can receive documents through subpoenas, and then there's an indictment grand jury. While we can't comment yet until the grand jury transcripts are unsealed by a court, I can't even confirm that a grand jury has occurred. There have been media reports that certain individuals, both cooperative witnesses and uncooperative witnesses, went in front of the grand jury. And over the last 7 months, more importantly, the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division, working with the DA's office, has methodically and rigorously gone through the forensic and digital evidence, dealt with every witness statement we could obtain in order to get to this point when we have filed the charges. And very often in Los Angeles, those charges will follow an arrest within 48 hours, unless there's a weekend, of an arrest.
The reason I ask you that is because there were reports that the DA's office and the LAPD weren't on the same page, that something happened during this grand jury that stalled it, and the LAPD made an arrest, put the pressure on the DA's office to make a charging decision today. Because even in the announcement on Friday, your office had said that they were aware of the arrest. So there was this report that perhaps you weren't on the same page when it came to charging David. Your response?
That's completely unfounded. We have been on the same page, working in lockstep with the LAPD robbery homicide since they picked up this case in September of 2025, when Celeste, the 14-year-old at the time, when her body was found dismembered and severely decomposed in the front trunk of a Tesla that was owned and registered to Mr. Burke, David Burke. So again, to the extent that anyone wants to create some type of story that the LAPD and the LADA's office were not working in lockstep, that would be untrue.
So I guess the question would be, doesn't this now have to go to a preliminary hearing for there to be enough probable cause to sustain these charges? This is something that his defense attorneys pointed out today. They want an immediate preliminary hearing that would be in front of a court. It's public. Right. It's not a grand jury. Some would say it's easier to get charges in front of a grand jury than a preliminary hearing, particularly where I believe his defense attorney is now questioning the cause of death. So I go back to the question, is this the way that you always envision this case, to present it in front of a court as opposed to a grand jury? Is there an advantage to doing this?
So we typically actually present these type of cases at a preliminary hearing. The defense has the right to request a preliminary hearing within 10 days of the arraignment, which would be 10 days from today. Often, though, what will happen in that 10 days is they will get discovery from us. That discovery is incredibly voluminous. We estimate there will literally be terabytes of digital and forensic evidence, witness interviews. At some point, the court might unseal the grand jury transcripts, and they will get the grand jury transcripts. We have now, the court today issued an order to the coroner to release the coroner's report in this case. So whether or not the defense can be ready within the next 10 days to have a preliminary hearing, the only thing I can assure you is that that preliminary hearing goes forward, we will be prepared for it.
I think it's going to be interesting. First off, I just want to say, Inspector, you just asked, you're gonna air this trial if it's broadcast? Hell yeah! And you know what? Hell yeah. Okay, hell to the yeah. Oh, I'm most definitely gonna be airing this. Oh, I'm gonna be watching this. I'm gonna be glued to this mother-loving thing. Okay. Whoops. Trying to take that down. But one thing is for sure. I want to say this though. Okay. I want to make this abundantly clear. He's doing this speedy, like he's trying to speed up this preliminary hearing because he doesn't think that the prosecution has anything on him. He thinks that they don't have enough to pin this on him, which, by the way, pretty cocky of him. But I also will say this will most definitely be on camera. You want to know why it will be on camera? Unless the judge says hell no. Unless the judge says nope. If he rules that and says no, we don't want you. You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, he's going to be fighting for the cameras to be on there. Because I think he's thinking he's like a Johnny Depp type of situation. He's hoping that he can get exonerated by the court of public opinion whilst fighting for his life. He's potentially looking at the DP right now, guys. He's in some serious trouble. Potentially. That's if it ends up being left on the table. But this is an opportunity, I'm sure in his mind, where he wants it all out there on the tape, out there for everyone to see. Everything on display, because he truly thinks that he is an innocent dude. He truly thinks he has done no wrong. That is something I think is very, very important to think about that. Think about that for a second. This will, if this goes and sees the inside of a courtroom and he still thinks that he didn't do anything wrong and he's innocent and all that stuff. Yes, expect this to be on camera. And he's going to want that. He is going to want that for sure. Because he wants court of public opinion to instantly be swayed.
They're disputing cause of death. Any indication about why they're doing that? I mean, it's one thing to say he's innocent, he didn't do this. They're disputing cause of death. They're putting the pressure now on your office to prove this at a preliminary hearing. Is there something about the cause of death? And I don't believe they've seen the coroner's report. Anything you could say that might raise a question about that, or why they're raising a question about that?
Again, they haven't seen the coroner's report either. So the idea that there's a question over a report that they haven't seen yet and the cause of death, again, the defense will engage in whatever strategies and tactics and make whatever statements they have. At the end of the day, though, we will prove our case in court. At a preliminary hearing, it's by a probable cause level of evidence. And in a trial, it will be beyond a reasonable doubt.
Can you clarify something? Again, it came out today, but I just want to make sure I'm accurate. Your theory of the case is that Burke allegedly lured Celeste out to this property, that she was going to report him to the police about their relationship, and that is why he killed her? And if I'm correct, how do you intend to prove that?
So the actual details of the evidence will be presented at the preliminary hearing and later at a trial. What we charge, though, and what the complaint charges is first-degree murder with 3 different special circumstances. The first one is lying in wait. And the allegation, as alleged in the complaint, is that Burke invited Celeste to his house the night of April 23rd, 2025, at which point he was lying in wait to murder her. The second special circumstance that was charged, and by the way, the reason you end up charging special circumstances in California is that if you have first-degree murder and you get convicted of it, it's 25 years to life.
Right.
But that allows the life sentence to be with the possibility of parole. If any one of the 3 special circumstances is found beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury, that then creates a life without the possibility of parole sentence, or if we so choose to seek it, the death penalty.
You mentioned cooperating and non-cooperating witnesses. I will tell you, people will look at this and say, okay, if the allegations are true, how on earth could David, this singer, kill this girl, dismember her body, leave it in a Tesla all by himself? There are those who say there's no way that he could have done this by himself, yet he's the only one charged. Are we dealing with a circumstance where there might be others involved, but they're cooperating, and if they choose not to cooperate anymore, they may be charged? Because I was listening to the press conference today. I was wondering if there's a little bit of opening that other people might be involved here.
Well, we have an ongoing investigation in the sense that if any individuals have information about Mr. Burke or anything dealing with this particular crime, please at any time reach out to the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division or the DA's office and bring us that information. With respect to any potential other individuals, as I said during the press conference, if and when we charge anybody else, and I'm not saying we will, you'll be the first to know.
And
I mean, let's be real. I just truly think that if there were people that were like accomplices or something of that sort, how could they get a plea deal if they, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could they get a deal if they were involved in such a grisly crime? You see what I'm saying? And then also at the same time, if they were involved and they, exposed all this information, I think then they would, I would think or assume that they would have been able to arrest D4vd a long ass time ago. You see what I'm saying? So it seems weird. This whole thing is a little ass backwards. Let's be real. Right? So it is interesting. But again, he's like, if we have anything, y'all will know. Okay. We'll see about that.
I have to ask this, but there was a lot of reports about Neil Langston as a potential friend of David who was reportedly arrested, brought back to testify.
Yeah, what about
Neil? Is this one of the individuals we should be looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not going to comment one way or the other about any particular additional individuals or whether there are any additional individuals. What we did with respect to individuals who wanted to either cooperate with our investigation or were uncooperative is that they often receive subpoenas to come in and testify in order for us to get the information to make the decision we made today to file these charges.
You called this a parent's worst nightmare. Based on everything I've seen in this case and what you described today, you're 100% right. What was it like sitting down with Celeste's family? Because during the course of these 7 months, we really haven't heard too much from them, and I understand why.
As any parents, and I am a parent of 3 children, can appreciate, when your daughter goes missing, and she went missing the night of April 23rd, 2025, and days go by, first hours go by, then days, then weeks. You don't know if she's alive. You don't know if she's dead. And then months go by, over 4 months, until finally it comes to light that your daughter's body has been cut up, mutilated. It's decomposing in bags inside of a front trunk of a Tesla all the way into September of 2025. Then you want to know, that not only is that your worst nightmare, that is the most horrible possible result that can happen. And now you want justice at some level. It'll never bring her back. It's impossible. But you want the killer and that murderer found, brought to court, have the evidence presented, convicted, and punished. And that's what we intend to do.
The medical examiner's report, before I let you go, talked about it being unsealed. When can we expect it to be unsealed, and what can we expect to be in that report regarding cause of death? And you also mentioned that Burke allegedly used a sharp instrument. How much is that report going to fill in the details?
Until that report's public, I can't comment on it, but I will tell you that the judge issued the order today to the coroner's office to make it public. I don't know how fast they'll respond to that order. I would imagine expeditiously. So I would imagine, again, within the next several days or week, that report will become public, and then you can read it and make your own determinations.
So some things are going to be coming out here very, very soon. Okay. And I will be real. It's going to be interesting when that stuff does come out. And also, in 9 days, if I'm correct, they're supposed to be doing their preliminary hearing as well. So it's going to be a very interesting week and a half.
Hey, Nathan Hochman, again.
Yeah. So again, guys, this is just a very, how he got arrested before everything was lined up and everything is very strange to me. I will say that. Okay. But y'all, this man did this. Okay. He did this himself. He was how he did this. How about this? If he didn't do the unaliving part, he most definitely had a hand in the dismantling. He definitely had a hand in trying to cover this situation up. Doesn't matter. This man, in my personal opinion, yes, I still think he's a volatile, disgusting individual, and he should be meeting justice face to face. That's it. He should be seeing justice and dealing with justice face to face, because that's exactly what he freaking deserves. Just in my personal opinion. So as much as it's like, oh yeah, he getting framed and all that. No, miss me with the nonsense. There's too much in here that is telling us different. Too much here telling us different. Okay. Pretty insane, but okay. Hold on. There is something. I need to find it though. Damn. Where did it go? Okay. There is something. It's a little bit of a left turn. I'm gonna get to this left turn here in a second. But anyway, nonetheless, it's very, very, like, what they have on him. Let's be real. He's screwed. Okay, he's screwed, and he was too busy trying to be the superstar that he is. That he wanted to be, rather than actually, keeping his hands off of littles. Period. I mean, that's universally just keeping his hands off of littles. And he decided not to do that, right? He continued to do those things. And then, of course, allegedly, she was like, hey, I'm about to expose you and destroy your entire career. Because no one takes kindly to PDF files. No one does. Okay? Oh, they're just misunderstood. Shut up. Nope. Wrong. It's disgusting. It's wrong and it's disgusting. Period, point blank. So he's getting what's coming to him. And there's no way, I'm sorry, there's no way that this is a man who got framed. I just don't see it. Okay? I just don't see it. But everybody, there's always going to be some side. Like when you looked at Diddy's situation, there was a side to it, right? There are people taking sides to that. When you look at this situation, there's always going to be somebody who's taking the side, the opposite side of it. You look at the Brian Kohberger situation. You got people still out here to this day sitting there saying that Brian Kohberger is innocent. Like, come on. Come on. He's innocent? Stop it already. But you get it. You get it. Everyone's entitled to their own thing, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And there are people out here that will sit there and try to be on the opposing side just to be an agitator. You know what I mean? Just because it's fun. You know? That's all, right? Yeah. Wild things. You ain't wrong, Inspector. The wild things have happened before. You know, we've seen other cases where you're like, oh, it's a slam dunk. It's a wrap with this guy. And then it's like, wait a sec, he's walking? What? You see what I'm saying? So again, Lexi, you ain't wrong. The burden of proof has to be met. Absolutely. That depends on what happens with this preliminary hearing. They might come up and be like, here's all the stuff. And it's like, what? You got nothing. Like, all of this is just showing proof that, yeah, she was found in his car, but does that mean that he did it? I'm being real. That is something that needs to be asked and needs to be talked about. But here's the thing. That'll be up to a jury of his peers. That'll be up to the jury to figure out whether or not he really did this or not, right? At the end of the day, that's part of it. There are plenty of situations, wild things have happened. Somebody's found gone in somebody's home, in the owner's home, and automatically you say, oh, it's the guy who owned the home. It's definitely him. And it's like, no, he was not there. He was nowhere near the situation. And somehow she or he, this person, was found dead in his home. And then they have to fight that in court and try to convince a jury reasonable doubt. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's beyond a reasonable doubt that he did this, blah, 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 or, whatever it may be. So very, very interesting. Okay. This whole case is interesting. And the fact that he's sitting there going like, I have done no wrong and I'm innocent. And what's also crazy to me is that if you knew that she did this, or if you knew that someone else did this to her, Why didn't you say anything about it? Did you not know that she was in the front trunk of your car ever? You didn't know that at all. You didn't know a body was rotting in the front trunk of your Tesla this entire time. The woman that the little that you were with for over a year, allegedly, suddenly ups and disappears, and you did not once wonder where she was? Come on now. He was having carnal relations with this girl, and he didn't know where she was and didn't even know he had nothing to do with this. He had no clue. And instead of him actually calling 911 and reporting the bad people who did this to her, if it was an outside person and he wasn't the party who did this, why didn't he do so? You see what I'm saying? So as much as he's sitting there going like, I'm innocent, I don't believe it, guys. I don't believe it not once. But it'll be up to the courts and up to the jury to see if what prosecution presents to them is ironclad enough to lock him behind bars. We'll see. We will see about that. Okay? Let's be real. Okay? Let us be real. But guys, I'm going to be wrapping up the show here. This is where I'm going to end for now. There's a lot going on. I got to take care of some things outside of this room. So please, okay, before we head out, hit that like button down below. Okay. I really, really appreciate it. Big time. I'm actually checking just to make sure I'm not missing any like breaking news or anything that's like popping off right now. Mainly everybody's kind of waiting to see if they're actually having a meeting as far as peace talks or not. We already know that Iran is just kind of bouncing back and forth whether or not they're going to, have this meeting or not. So we're still waiting for that. And of course, we pretty much talked about all the big heavy hitting pieces of information thus far. So let's see what happens. Let me see an update here. Nope. Lebanese government isn't intimidated by Hezbollah, says Prime Minister. Oh, boy. Yeah. So right now, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for some more information. Yeah, something else is going on. Gilgo Baggins, Rex Heuermann, Gilgo beats Serial Monster. We can talk about that for a hot minute because apparently, let's take a look at this. Apparently, his wifey, now his ex-wifey, remember he admitted to wrongdoing. I just want to remind you that he admitted to wrongdoing. He admitted to doing this. He pled guilty to taking the lives of 8 women, if I'm correct. So this piece of trash is finally locked up. But what's interesting is apparently bombshell confession, the Gilgo Baggins, okay, made to his wife as she reveals moment that he finally admitted the depth of his twisted depravity. Let's take a look. Of course, this is probably going to be a commercial. Hold on. Let's give it a few seconds. But this is very interesting, guys. Allegedly, she knew before he pled.
Sit with a serial killer.
Hold on.
What was the hard? It's not every day you get to sit with a serial killer. What was the hardest part for you to hear?
Well, I put a wall.
What do you mean you put
She
a wall?
called him Mr. Heuermann.
Okay,
So his response was, "Oh, are we formal now, Mrs. Ellerup?"
Did you feel you were sitting across the table from a stranger?
No. When he started talking, I started feeling like that's the Rex I know. But I didn't want to see that one. I wanted to see the one I needed to see.
Okay.
Paint a picture for us of what it was like to walk into that room.
He looked very nervous. Very, very nervous. And I said to him, "So, Mr. Hewerman, I understand that you are confessing to me on these murders. Can you please tell me how many of these women did you kill?" He said 8.
8? Was there any hesitation when he said 8?
No, he just told me the answer. He said he killed 8 women.
8.
8.
Who was the 8th? Because he's charged with 7.
I didn't ask.
He sat and told you he killed 8.
He said I wasn't home during all of them.
Were any of them killed in the house?
He said yes, they were killed in his room downstairs.
I mean, y'all, come on. Now, if you don't know anything about the Rex Heuermann case, okay, this man is a very nasty, disturbing individual. Okay, he's an absolute monster. All right.
All except one.
So all except one, he unalived in the basement of their home. And they lived in this tiny house in New York. And apparently all of this happened while she was out of town with the kids. So when the cat's away, the mice will play, right? So allegedly every single time she went out of town, she went to Iceland. If I'm correct, she's from Iceland. She would take the kids out for that trip, so on and so forth. He would go and lure these women. He'd call up these hotlines, or he'd go through Craigslist and all that and lure these S workers. And then he would absolutely make their lives a living hell. Or their last night on the planet, okay, their last night alive, a living hell. And that's exactly what he did. So he admitted to unaliving 8. We only knew at that time about 7, but apparently he's saying one of them wasn't unalived inside the home. The other 7 were done in that basement. And that basement was weird. That basement was crazy, okay? And they found a lot of stuff. He would Dexter stuff. Put up a whole bunch of plastic hanging, plastic up on the walls and all that, trying to, block splatter, if you get what I'm saying, DNA from escaping the room and all that. He really was very meticulous about what he did. In fact, we've already talked about this before, but a quick reminder, he wrote a journal. He would log his experiences because he wanted to be the best hunter. He wanted to be the best monster he could be. He's like, oh, it didn't work out this way. I need to do it this way next time. So on and so forth. Okay? Disturbing, disgusting individual. And now wifey is saying, yeah, he confessed to me that it was 8 victims. One of them wasn't at home. One of them was somewhere else. But his main place, his lab, if you will, was the basement of his own home, where he was raising his 2 children and being a husband to his wife. And whenever they went out of town, he'd go off, use a burner phone, call up these S workers, and do the most disgusting things ever. And then take their remains and spread them all across Gilgo Beach in Long Island. Yeah. Pretty insane stuff. But of course, his sentencing should be coming up here soon, I think. And they are still trying to, I get it. Like, I don't think the wife works. I don't know if she does. But they were getting paid to do this documentary. And I guess this documentary is about to be out, or it's out already. Hold on. Yeah, it's on Peacock. Peacock, Gilgo Beach Killer, House of Secrets. It airs on, I guess, the finale episode airs on Thursday. So I guess there's already some episodes already out. But again, he pleaded guilty. He admits to taking the life of 8 individuals. Who's the 8th one? I think they finally identified that 8th person. But we'll find out. But this is some pretty crazy stuff. Okay? But guys, I'm going to have to wrap up the show. Wanted to give you guys that update because, you know, we do cover that stuff, and we're covering the Gilgo Beach situation for a while when it first came out, and we covered it when he pled guilty live on the show. So again, I got to wrap up the show. So that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. You can spend your time with anybody else. You decided to be right here, and that means the world to me. So thank you so very much. So do me a favor before you head out, hit that like button down below, crush it, do it, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them, so hit that follow button. Don't forget to subscribe right here to my YouTube channel. All right? Subscribe. That would be amazing. Hit that join button down below. Oh, sorry. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon, which is right there in the ticker going across. You can also check out my locals if you want. And of course, also check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. So go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great one, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.